Welcome back, my beautiful beings of light. My name is Jeanette, and I am a high vibrational being. I am intuitive, I am a psychic, I am connected to the Most High. I have broken generational curses. I am free from the matrix. I am an earth angel. I am an ancient old Egyptian royalty soul reincarnated here on the planet at this time to help raise the conscience of the collective. I am also a star seed. I am a galactic being. I am a child of the Most High, God. I serve only one master, and that's the creator of everything and everyone. I am a healer. I am intuitive. I am an empath. I am all that is. I am everything. I am as it is above, so it's below. I want to say that on Monday, I was food poisoned again. But here I go. I am here. I know where the food poison came from. And I will never go back over there again. I don't know. People just don't understand. I have done nothing to anyone. I have not hurt a living soul to the point where death is what they wish for me, to take me out. But God is the one in control, so they could do whatever they want at the end of the day. I will get my justice, and I will call my Father to bring justice to the person or whoever put the poison in my food on Monday. Because there is only thing, I only had tea, and I had pizza. And after that, the pizza was when I felt sick. But you know, I don't know. It could have been no. They tried to poison me. Plain and simple. It is what it is. I call it. It is what it is. Anyway, so that took place, and I've also been a little bit under the weather, but I'm fine. I am up. I am alert. I am gaining my strength again. I'm drinking lots of water, and just staying very high vibrational. Whatever anybody wants to bring towards me, it's not working. I always fight through it. I always make it through, no matter how tough it is. I would never, ever let anything or anyone take my shine away. Ever. And I'm very thankful to my God, to my angels, to my ancestors, to my galactic family. They have really helped me through this healing process. I've been doing a lot of healing as well. So a lot of this healing cleansing is coming from energy healing. So, but I'm very thankful to my archangels, my ascended masters, my galactic family, my deities, my ancestors, for the fight that we're going through in this spiritual battle. It hasn't been easy, because many people wanted me dead. They wanted me to give up my divinity, to give up my faith in my Father. But there is no man, there is no force that can ever have that power over my soul. I am a child of the Most High, and I'm here to deliver His messages, and I'm here to do His work, and I'm here to complete my mission. And nobody's gonna tear me away. No matter how much voodoo, hoodoo, whatever slander, whatever spell work, whatever monitoring spirits, whatever cameras you put, whatever obstacle you place in my way, whatever person you come and bring me to my face, but you can't bring yourself to my face. Whatever anyone tries to do to stop me, the light of my Father will forever shine down upon my soul. And I will never give that power away to anyone. Oh. So, I wanted to, Life of Buddha, do a little reading in the Life of Buddha. My fairies, I love you. Thank you for your support. My mom, my dad, my sister, my brother, my nephew, my twin brother, all the spirit, my spirit team, I love you. Thank you for always your words, your support, your love, your guidance. Let's see. These words are pretty big. Let's see. Let's do an old beggar. Lesson 7. After what he had done to the prince and the king, let me start all over again. After what he had done for the prince, the king was satisfied that his son would follow his footsteps and become a king later. He ordered a high wall to be built around the palace, including the park. But the prince was not happy in this palace, living like a prisoner. One day he told his father, "Father, I must go out of the palace gate and see how other people live." "Very well, my son," said the king. "You shall go outside the palace wall to see how people live in my city. But first I must prepare things so that all would be good and proper for my noble son's visit." When the people had decorated the city, the king said, "Now you can go, my dear son, and see the city as you please." As the young prince was going through the streets, all of a sudden, from a small old butte beside the road, out came an old man with long silver hair, weaving, wearing very old, torn, dirty rags. The skin of this face, the skin of his face was all dried up and wrinkled. His sunken eyes were dimmed, and he was almost blind. Then was no teeth in his mouth. Oh my God. I don't know. I've been tearing nonstop. Nonstop. I can't. It's just nonstop. Eyes just tearing. I don't know where it's coming from. It's just weird. He stood up trembling all over, most bent, doubled, holding a. He stood up trembling all over, almost bent, doubled, holding a stick, and he did this. He did this with two skinny hands to save himself from falling. I'm so sorry, guys. Not perfect, so it is what it is. And I don't edit. The old beggar dragged himself along the streets, paying no attention to all the gay people around him. He was speaking very feebly, begging people around him to give him food, as he would die the very day if he had nothing to eat. The prince saw the man. He did not know what he was looking at, as that was the first time in his life that he saw an old man of this type. "What is that, Shana?" he asked his driver. "That really cannot be a man. Why is he all bent? Why is he trembling for? Why is his hair silver gray, not black like mine? What is wrong with his eyes? Where are his teeth? Is this how some men are born? Tell me, old good Shana, what does this mean?" Shana told the prince that it was an old man, but he was not born like that. He was like us, and now due to his old age, he has become like this. He told the prince to forget this man, but the prince was not satisfied. Everyone in the world, if he lives, if everyone, wait, I'm sorry, everyone in the world, if he lives long enough, becomes like this man, it cannot be stopped, said Shauna. Excuse me. Everyone, the prince ordered him to drive back home at once, as he was very sad. He wanted to think carefully about that terrible thing called old age. As a prince, the others must one day grow old, weak and sad, and none could stop old age, although one is rich, great, and powerful. That night there was a grand royal treat for the prince. He was not interested or happy at all during the dinner and dance. He was thinking all the time, someday you will all grow old, every one of you, even the prettiest. He could not sleep when time came. He was in bed, thinking that one day everyone will grow old, gray, wrinkled, toothless, and ugly, like old beggar. He wanted to know if anyone had found a way to stop his horrible thing, old age. The king, when he heard this story, was very sad and worried. and was thinking whether this would make his son leave the palace. So he told his attendants to put on more dances and dinners. But the prince begged his father to allow him to see Capetua. I don't know how to say that. Capetlatvatul on the ordinary day without the people being told of his visit. One exercise. Why was the prince not happy in the palace? What did his father say when he asked his permission to go out of the palace? What did he see when he went to the city? What did the old man say? What did the prince ask his driver? What did the driver say to him? Had the prince seen many old people before? Why? Do you think you also will grow old like that? What did the king do to make him happy? Lesson 8. A sick man. The king very unwillingly allowed the prince to visit the city, but he thought it would not do any good trying to stop him now, since it will only make him unhappy. On this occasion, the prince went to the Chana, dressed up as a young man from noble families, because he did not want the people to know them. This time, the city was quite different. No more joyous crowds or people hailed the prince. No flags, bunting, flowers, and well-dressed people, but simple people doing their daily work to earn a living. A blacksmith was sweating and pounding to make knives. The jewelers and goldsmiths were making necklaces, bangles, earrings, and rings out of diamonds, gold, and silver. The cloth dryers were dyeing clothes of lovely colors and hanging them up to dry. The baker was busy baking bread, cakes, and sweets and selling them to the customers who ate them. Still hot, the prince looked at the simple, common people. Everyone was very busy, happy, and pleased in his work. He also saw a man on the ground, twisting his body, holding his stomach with both hands and crying out in pain at the top of his voice. All over his face and body were purple patches. His eyes were rolling and he was gasping for breath. Once again, for the second time in his life, something made him very sad. At once the prince, being a very kind person, ran forward and carried the man, and resting his head on his knee, patted the man and said, "What is wrong with you? What is wrong?" This sick man could not speak, but only cry. "Chana, tell me why this man is like this," questioned the prince. "What is the matter with his breath? Why does he not talk?" "Oh, my Princess Chana, do not hold this man like that. This man is sick. His blood is poisoned. He has plague fever and is burning all over the body, and that is why he is crying loudly without being able to speak." "But are there any other men like this?" asked the prince. "Yes, you may be the next. If you hold the man so close as that, please put him down and do not touch him on the plague. or the plague will come out of him and go to you. You will become the same as he is. Are there any other bad things beside this plague, Shana? Yes, my prince. There are hundreds of other sicknesses as painful as this, replied Shana. Yes, my prince. There are hundreds. Okay, sorry. Can no one help it? Will everyone be sick? Can it happen at any time by surprise? Asked the prince. Yes, my dear prince, said Shana. Every day in this world, no one can stop it, and it can't happen. And it can happen anytime. One fall ill and suffer much. The prince was sadder this time, and he returned to his palace and began to think. Was the king willing to let his son go out of the palace, and why? These are questions you will need to answer. How did the prince go to the city this time? What are people doing this time? What made him sad this time? What did he say when he saw the man on the ground? What did he do to him? Why did Shana not allow him to do that? Why was the prince shocked to see him like that? Why do you do when you see a sick man like that? What do you do when you see a sick man like that? Do you think you will also fall sick one day? People live in in a world where they think things will not happen to them because of their power, because of their riches, because of their luxury, the way of living. And it's not true. Anything could happen to anyone on any level of social, economic, race, culture, stability. Anyone. But how do you would react to a person who is sick? A dead body. On his return to the palace, somebody's going to die. On his return to the palace, he was still very dissatisfied and was now thinking more often. Someone who believed that they were powerful, who believed that their home, their luxury, their money will not affect them, that they could look down on people of low income and oppressed. Your brothers and sisters, and think that things won't happen to you. But God is big. You can't do that. But once again, the prince asks his permission to go out to the palace to see more life in the city. The king agreed, as it was no use trying to stop his son. This time, too, wearing the clothes of noblemen, the prince and Shana went out from the palace, walking in many parts of I don't even know how to say that. Sorry. It's some place in India. Then he saw a few people coming along the streets crying while four men at the back were carrying a plank on which a very thin man lay flat and still. He was like a stone, never saying a word. Then the people went a little further, rested the person down on a pile of wood, and set the wood on fire. The man did not move as the flames were burning the wood from all sides. What is this, Shana? What's that? What does that man lie there so still, allowing these people to burn him up? He does not know anything. He is dead, replied Shana. Dead, Shana? Is this called death? And everyone has to be dead like that man? Yes, my dear prince. All living things must die someday. No one can stop death from coming, replied Shana. The prince was shocked and surprised, and he could not say anything anymore. He thought that it was a terrible thing that such a thing called death should come to everybody, even kings and sons of kings. Was there any way to stop it? He went home in silence and began to think in his own room in the palace the whole day. He was very sorry and sad and said, everyone in the world must someday die. No one has found out how to stop it. Oh, there must be a way to stop it. I must find it out and help the world. What did he see this time? What made him more sad? What did he ask his driver? What did he think after that? What did he want to find out? The Prince Sarihatra contemplates deeply the viciousness of life after the four sights. That's the picture. Let me see. Lesson 10. A monk. When he visited the city for the fourth time in a garden, the prince saw a happy man wearing an orange-colored robe. Then he asked Shana, who is this man wearing an orange-colored dress? His hair is all shaved off. Why does he look so happy? How does he live, and what does he do for a living? This is a monk, said Shana. He lives in a temple, goes from house to house for his food, and goes from place to place telling people how to be happy and how to be good. The prince was very happy now, he thought. I must become one like that. And then he walked through the garden very happily. He walked until he was tired. Then he sat down under a tree and rested. As he was sitting under a cool shaded tree, news came that his wife had given birth to a fine baby boy. As soon as he heard the news, he said, Rahula has been born to me, an obstacle that has been born to me, and his son's name became Rahula. As he was returning to the palace from the garden, he passed the room of the princesses called Kasigatami. She was looking out of the window and saw the prince coming. She was so taken in by the boy's handsome prince that she said loudly, oh, how happy and how cool must be the mother and father and the wife of such a handsome young prince. As he passed this woman, he heard this and thought to himself that everyone would be happier if they knew what real and selfish happiness were. What did the prince see this time? What was happy? What was happy to see him, and why? What did Shana say to the monk? What was the name of the prince, Sarihatra's son? Where did he hear the news of his son's birth? What did he hear when he was returning to the palace? What did he think about it? The last one, leaving home. The king arranged a dinner and dance for the prince to celebrate the birth of his grandson. He invited the best dancers and singers in the country for this. He did this because he saw that the prince was unhappy, although he just had a son, and the king knew that the prince was going to leave the palace for good. So for the last time, at least, he must do his best to stop this from happening. During the dinner, the most delicious food was served. The most enchanting and beautiful dancing girls in the country danced before him. The prince attended the party just to please his father. In fact, he was tired and was thinking of how he could stop old age, sickening unhappiness, and death. He was so tired of thinking that he soon fell asleep. When the singer and the dancers saw that they were dancing and singing to a sleeping prince, they too stopped and rested for a while until the prince woke up again. Like the prince, they too were very tired and soon fell asleep. Sometime later that night, the prince got up and was so shocked and unhappy to see these people. What a sight! All of the prettiest, most charming dancing girls and singers in the country, who an hour ago was trying to make the prince so happy, who an hour ago so happy, were now all over the floor of the room, on chairs, states, and beds, in the most ugliest, shameful, and loathsome position. Some girls were snoring like pigs, with their mouths wide open, and some grinning and chewing their teeth like hungry devils. So ugly and dirty did they all look now that this, so ugly and dirty they look now that this made the prince even more disgusted and very unhappy. He got up quietly from the room, as he did not want to wake any of the dancing girls, and called his faithful servant Shana to saddle his favorite white horse, Kanzaka, to go out on a long journey. As Shana was getting ready his horse, he went quietly to see his newborn son for the first time in his life. His wife was sleeping with the baby beside her, and her covers, and her hands covered the baby's face. He could not see the baby's face even. Prince knew that if he moved his wife's hand to see his son's face, he might wake her up, and definitely would not allow him to leave the palace. He said to himself, if I try moving her hand to see my son's face, I fear I may wake her up. No, I must go without seeing my son's face this time. But when I have found that what I am going forth to seek, I shall come back and see him and his mother again." Then quietly he went out of the palace at midnight with his white horse, Kadakaka, with Shana and faithful servants holding onto his tail. He came to the city gate and nobody stopped him, and rode away from all he knew, respected, and loved him so much. He took a last look at Kapithapo, I can't even say that, sleeping so quietly in the moonlight. He was going away to find out a way to stop old age, sickness, and death. He rode to the bank of the river Anoma. He got down, removed all his jewelry, the prince's clothes, and gave them to Shana, asking him to return them back to the king. Then he took his sword and cut his hair. He put his orange-colored clothes, took a begging bowl, and asked Shana to go back. It is no use living in the palace," said Shana very sadly, "without you, my master. I want to follow you." "Don't do that, Shana," said the prince. "Take these clothes and the jewelry to my father and tell him, my mother and wife, not to worry. I am going away to find out a way to stop old age, sickness, and death. As soon as I have found it, I will return to the palace to teach it to my father, mother, wife, and everyone in the world. Then all of them can be very happy." Shana started to go, but the horse refused to go. The prince talked to the horse very kindly, patted it, and said, "Please, Kataka, go with my friend. Don't wait for me." Both of them went a little distance, and then the horse stopped and turned around to have a last look at the prince. Shana understood the horse's feeling and said, "Friend, our master is going away to bring us something very good. Don't be sad. He will come soon. Let us go." The horse looked very sad. Tears rolled down from his eyes. It kept his eyes fixed at the prince for a moment. Later, the horse died of sorrow. Whom did the prince invite to attend the dinner party? What was the prince doing while the party was going on? What did he see when he woke up? Where did he quietly go then? What did he ask his driver to do? Did he see his son's face? Why? After crossing Anoma, what did he ask his driver to do? What did Kata refuse to return to the palace? That's a lesson here. Hope you guys learned it.